interview time with the one and only Heather McDonald.
Oh, thank you.
Yay, and of course you guys know her from Chelsea Lately, which was, when I think about Chelsea Lately, especially for our generation, it really did redefine the late night television talk show. And you were one, not only did you appear regularly, but you're one of the writers.
Yeah, I mean, it was really great. I was there from the beginning, and in the very beginning, it was going to be Chelsea, one comedian, one entertainment reporter, and then what we called stunt casting. Like, it would be like a weird, like, Ling or some freak that we just would do. And that person became so distracting, like, whoever they were, that we got rid of that, and then we had two comedians. And then we realized that the entertainment reporter was sort of in a weird position because they wanted to be funny, but they weren't really funny. We just wanted them to, and they weren't contributing more information, so then we made it all comics. And that's once I felt like it really got in the mojo. And it was a different way to do late night because a monologue would be almost within the round table and the cold open would be a smaller monologue that's more specific. And so it was great. And I was so happy to have that as part of my life.
And really what's the process of a writer? Like, do you, I'm sure everybody has their own process, but do you think of things in the middle of the night? Or is it you get to work and that's when you do everything?
Well, like, because it was a daily show like this, you know, we would get together and we would all pitch topics. And we would kind of go around, and sometimes we'd be like pretty much into a topic, writing lots of jokes for it, and then we'd go, you know what, this is all going to be fat jokes, or this is all going to be, and then we go, okay, let's forget that. And sometimes she'd be in the meetings, and sometimes she couldn't make it, but then we would write jokes for her, and she'd choose them.
Oh,
and then
cool.
if I was on that day, which I was on like once a week or so, then once I was done writing all her jokes, then I would kind of go, okay, now what's my point of view that's different than what we've explored for her?
Heather.
So
and then
crazy.
From the very beginning, I would start always tying it back to me and sharing about my life. And so then when other people started to get on the show, I kind of told them they should do that too, because I think that's what made people remember me. They're like, oh, she's the one who's married. She's the one who has the kids, you know.
Would you guys be really drinking during the day, like Chelsea said?
Never drank during the day. No, we taped at 3:30.
Right.
Never drank before 3:30.
Because she did allude to that with the Grey Goose and all that.
Unless you came wasted, I think that you should be able to keep it together.
You're also a New York Times best-selling author. That's crazy, you guys. Just two different books. And they're both memoirs, right? They're both kind of, they're based on your life.
Yeah, the first book basically takes me to where I meet my husband. So that's You'll Never Blue Ball in This Town Again. It's about all my dating
Love that
life
title.
Because I just blue balled. I did not do full penetration. And I figured, but I had more dates than other people because I was not putting out. So I have all these like funny stories about these awful people I dated. And so that's the first book. And then the second book was more like after I was married with the kids and how I felt I sort of had an inappropriate life working on Chelsea Lately and being a stand-up and trying to fit in with the life I still saw as myself as like the Catholic school girl. My kids go to the same Catholic school I go to.
What?
So yeah. And my daughter, my stepdaughter goes to the same all-girl high school I went to. So it's like I bought the house next door to my parents. So my whole life is like repeating itself, but I have this other weird thing, you know?
Yeah.
So like when we put in the Christmas cards, make sure to watch Heather's new show. It's TLC. It's called All About Sex. And it premieres this Saturday at 10 and 11, so check your local listings. But in the cards, I said, just don't put the title.
All About Sex.
Because I was like, in this season about the birth of Jesus, watch Heather's new show, All About Sex. And I was kind of like, God, of the title, but it is going to be four of us talking about sex and relationships. Margaret Cho, who is hilarious. And we all come from different aspects of sexuality and where we are in our lives and what we think, but we all are down to talking about anything, and we'll be able to have people tweet in and Skype and ask questions. And I love giving advice, and I live living vicariously through other people's dating lives. I have a lot of opinions about everything.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
That's going to be on TLC January 10th, 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. All About Sex.
Yes.
You guys have to tune in. I can't wait because I feel like that's going to be like a sexier, more current version of The View, like a nighttime version of it.
Well, anything is sexier than The View.
Hey, let's not sell Rosie short.
So it surprises me that you had such like a Catholic upbringing.
Yeah.
Did you ever say outspoken things when you were in Catholic school? Did it get you into trouble?
Yes.
Did people appreciate
because
it?
I was the youngest of 5, and like basically the 5th mistake, you know. And so my parents, like, I didn't have a bedtime. You know, they were both working, and they were consumed with the teenagers that were in the house who were bad. So it's like I saw like every made-for-TV movie at like 8 years old. I was like, did you see Victoria Principal and the Mistress? And my friends would be like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, it was so great. I remember I was at a friend's house about to spending the night, and I go, oh, why don't you ever wear clips like this in your hair? To my friend goes, oh, my mom says it looks cheap when I clip it like that. And I go, what do you mean, cheap like a hooker? And the woman goes, what? And they were like a hooker, like a cheap, someone who sells their body for sex. Is that what you're saying your daughter looks like? And they're like, you're 8. And I remember the woman going, your mother certainly shares. I'm like, why? Have you not seen Eve Plum? Eve Plum had a made-for-TV movie. Eve Plum was
from
Jan
the Brady Bunch.
And when she was about 16, she did a made-for-TV movie about her being a teenage hooker.
Awesome.
And I was obsessed with it.
Of course.
Because I was like, I don't want to have sex with strangers, but I loved her outfit. She wore, it was like a suede, like fringy Pocahontas kind of.
Did you try to copy it?
Of course.
Awesome.
I was a hooker one night for Halloween.
Oh my gosh. And your Showtime special, very successful. I saw it. We haven't, if you guys didn't see it, Mark and I have it DVR'd. You have to watch it. I don't mean to brag.
Yes.
It's so good. And I'm sure that you can go on at Showtime.
Yeah, actually it's up. You can buy the DVD now too. In a couple weeks, I think it's available.
It's hilarious. Is that all true? Because I know when
Yes, it's all true. And I didn't
How
want
is that all true? You guys, when you watch it, and for those of you that had already watched it, you'll see a day in the life of Heather McDonald, and it is crazy.
It's altered. It's so funny because I didn't want my kids to watch it because I speak about them very honestly. And I was doing, and my son walked by and he heard me talking about this one day, and he goes, "Oh my God, Mom, that's true, that really happened." I'm like, I know, what do you think I'm talking about, you know?
Amazing.
How do you handle that?
Yeah.
Like, if you say something about your kid very honestly, do you honestly believe, especially since you went and watched Jan Brady put out for money, like, that they're not going to find it?
I said they could see it. They did see a clip recently where I talked about my second child being my least favorite.
That's so
The younger one thought that was the greatest thing ever. And the middle one goes, the one who I was talking about, he goes, "Oh, I don't care." And I go, "You know what, Drake? There are times that you are my least favorite," and that's where it came up. And I said it once, and it got a big laugh, and so I kept it, But I explained to them, I go, you guys are part of what makes this house run. Like, I talk about you. That's why we get to go to Mammoth and ski. That's why we have a pool. Some people make their kids get up at 4 in the morning to pick corn. Like, because they live on a farm. I have to come up with material, and you're going to be the father for it.
Right.
And let's talk about it now, and I don't,
Yeah.
Right.
And if you have to go to therapy, at least I have a good health plan.
There you go.